can say anything you like. Go on, give it your all. What if I believed you? What if I could? Go on, give it your all tonight. You can say anything you like. I'm not your savior, so far away. Blinded by anger, you forgot who to blame. I'll never be your lighthouse in the dust. If I had my way, I'd guide you to the rocks. Go on, give it your all tonight. You can say anything you like. Go on, give it your all tonight. Oh. That's not it.
I'm not immune to the abuse. That's why I'm standing here with nothing left to lose. I can't begin to comprehend where I went wrong and letting you sink in. Could I believe how you deceive? You be you doesn't mean that I should leave. You let me go and never know how anyone could get this low. Can't replace all the words unspoken. Too late to turn back now. I only see the world is broken, but I can only wish you well when I am the one you ever been done. And I'm not about to let myself come undone. I can never cry from the weight. I stand up tall, let it all drift away, remembering the best in me. How can I live, be able to forget? I refuse to still be suffering, be the strongest I have ever been. Can't replace all the words unspoken. Too late to turn back now. I only see the world is broken, but I can only wish you well when I am the one you ever been done. And I'm not about to let myself come undone. Look how far I have come. I'm not alone, I'll carry on. I won't be Don't let it destroy the feelings left in me. My heart is an ocean, enough salt to heal the deepest wounds. I won't make them. Can't replace all the words unspoken. Too late to turn back now. I only see the world is broken, but I can only wish you well. Can't replace all the words unspoken. Too late to turn back now. I only see the world is broken, but I can only wish you well when I am the one you ever been done. And I'm not about to let myself come undone. Come undone.
I saw you standing over there. You stole my love, girl, it isn't fair.
And I see you
puts me into overdrive. I just need your body. You got me right where you want me. I just need your body. You got me right where you want me.
$400 purse on the line here for the National Auto Racing Club. Single car qualifying is out there and about. Multiple drivers have already qualified, and here we go with the grid. We'll pull that up with the quick times, and Greg is up there on the top of charts as of right now, already almost 30 seconds into the single car qualifying. Co-host with me tonight is going to be Alex from ISBC Broadcasting Group. And Alex, how's it going, man?
I gotta tell you, it's going amazing. Everyone knows Eldora. It's one of the most famous dirt tracks out there. It has a legacy, it has a reputation, and I am excited to see these drivers absolutely throw these cars around the track tonight.
Dude, Eldora is just a very classy track, man, and it's it also puts on some very, very good racing. That high side from night number 1 was definitely the fast way. But Alex, man, we've seen all sorts of slide jobs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the most crucial skills that any of these drivers will have at their disposal. That ability to get underneath another driver to put your car right on track, get in front, and then slide up and block them off. There is absolutely no substitution for the ability to be able to pull that move off cleanly and consistently. Because if you go for it and it goes wrong, it is going to go extremely wrong. We've seen that so often through various series and various drivers trying to throw those slide jobs, get up there underneath and in front of everyone else, only for those two drivers to wind up meeting right there in the middle of the track and both take a trip to the wall.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And top 3 advances out of these heat races. We have a completely full field. I think only about 3 more drivers got to qualify. For some reason, iRacing is not picking up those cars. I believe because we just have such a packed house here tonight for the National Auto Racing Club. But top 3 advances, man, and man, if you can definitely get yourself in that top 3, they're in the heat races. And transfer straight to the Mac Daddy Show, that will definitely make your night a whole lot easier.
Absolutely. If you can get through in your heat race, you've got a clear, quick, easy route right up there. If not, you're going to have to fight it out in one of the main races. And that can wind up becoming an absolute nightmare for you. you want to try and get a guaranteed spot in any way possible, because the closer you get to that feature coming, the more people are going to be chomping at the bit and the more aggressive you're going to have to fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And 51 drivers have now made their qualifying run. Seth Hagen was our latest, so with a 14.1 of 5.9. Definitely the track is slightly going away for these drivers that are doing their late qualifying run. But Greg Lammy Jr., the number 99 machine, he was able to capture that top pole with a 13.714. That machine is absolutely on rails out there.
Yeah, and that is going to be the issue for a lot of these drivers just now going out. The track's already been chewed up. You can see the slick really setting in hard there, especially on that low line, starting to creep up to that midline. If you're one of these last drivers out there, you're simply not going to have a lot of room to run and carry the speed, because it's going to be like you're out there on an ice rink trying to get the grip down and you don't have any. So really feel bad for some of these drivers that have gotten stuck with the late quality spots, but unfortunately that's something you just have to fight through and find a way to make it through to the next race.
$400 purse is on the line here tonight. The winner is going to walk out of this thing with the good old hard-earned PayPal cash of $100. Second place, 60. Third place is going to be 40. 35, 30, 25, all the way down the list, down to 10th place. We'll get $5. And a hard charger tonight, Alex, of $10 and the Mac Daddy show. So we'll have to keep an eye out on the hard charger as a heat race. And number one grid is starting to come alive. Drivers are getting into their machines, and we're about to go 10 laps around Eldora with top 3 drivers transferring to the A main.
I know, and one thing that I find a very interesting here, if people look on the track, they will notice that slick has not disappeared. We are not resetting a track state. It started clean in practice. We were in here watching, and it wasn't until the last 5 minutes that anyone really started going out onto the track. But that track wear, it is carrying over for each session. So we are going to have an interesting time here once we get to that feature.
Yeah, that track will be carrying over the entire night, man. It's going to be an absolute blast. So here we go with the race grid for heat race number 1. 9 drivers are going to make the start for the National Auto Racing Club. Greg Lamey Jr. with elbows up Sim Sports, the number 99 machine. He'll be on pole with Michael Birthday, the SSR lead driver, to his outside. Mason Inman, the number 23 machine, will be starting in third with Travis Snyder Jr. looking for a team. Number 77 car there in that 4th spot. Third row is going to be made up of Jordan and Kale. Fourth row is going to be Greg and Bruce. And rounding out that 9th spot, and a lot of work to do, is going to be Wesley, the 03 machine driver out of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he is going to have a decent amount of work to try and get his way up to that top 3. But as we all know, dirt is mayhem, and anything can happen out there on track. He needs to keep it clean, keep it quick, but just keep it off the wall and out of everyone else, and he has just as good of a shot of winning as any of these other drivers do.
This league usually does not do caution flags during their heat races, so it's a no hold bars race. But for this special event, for the Kings Royal, or the 360 Kings Royal, they will have caution flags for this 10-lap heat races. And here we go. Let's stack them up, pack them up, shimmy and shive. And Greg Lamey is going to leave this field down at the turn at number 1.
Yeah, you can see a really good carry off there as well for both Michael Birthday and Mason Inman, who were able to gain positions there on the start. Travis Snyder Jr. getting stuck slow and low there on the inside going into 1 and 2.
And we'll be watching this 3rd spot all night long in all these heat races. Travis Snyder Jr., the all-black machine, a little bit of gray, trying to hold off that hard charge of Bruce Kling in the number 21 machine as he tries to slide on up. Almost made contact with Travis Snyder, but Travis is still going to hold down that 3rd spot. Sorry, Travis Snyder is in that 77 machine, not that black and gray car.
No, and we have a new fastest lap in this heat race. Gregory Lammy in the 99 car there, a 14.012. So these drivers really starting to kick it up, not only battling hard, but really carrying some speed around this track.
Greg Lamy, he's a driver that finished second place right behind Shea Paulo, finished nose to tail. Actually gave him a little bit of a bump coming across the line. A very good race with his teammate of Shea Paulo, WC, that pro license right there next to his name. So he will definitely be fast as we work lap 6 of 10, 1 minute and 23 seconds in. Travis Snyder Jr. is still holding down the P3. He has a little bit of gap all the way back there to that 4th place of Mason Inman.
Yeah, and he is looking like he is going to try and attack Michael Birthday there in that yellow 75 machine in front of him. Possibly try and not just step away with a safe 3rd, but also go for 2nd.
Yeah, and that's a question, man. And, you know, you are locked into a $100 race just by finishing there 3rd place. How hard do you want to push it? Is it really worth trying to grab that one extra spot, or do you just ride there in that last transfer spot?
That is the question, but it looks like it is worth it to him. You can see him really throwing it hard there on the inside, cutting it tight on corner exit. He is trying everything he can to avoid the slick on exit.
Michael looked like he was going to block that slide job line. He goes out to the high side. Checkered flag's going away for the 99 machine. Michael's 2nd place. Travis Snyder Jr. is going to come home in 3rd. Bruce Kling and Mace, Kale, Jordan, Kale, and Wesley, those drivers will have to go back to the B main and farther back and try to work their way into this $100 show, $400 purse, 360 Kings Royal Race. As heat race number 2 is starting to grid up, and we got a lot of fast guys, and in this heat race.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's gonna be an easy ride for any of them. We're going to see just as much fighting through all of these heat races, and arguably with a stacked run like this one, it's going to be more difficult for all these drivers to try and get those positions. You're going to have a lot more people with much more on-track knowledge and a greater understanding of what they need to do out there. So you're going to find passing may be an extremely tall order to give for some of these drivers.
As drivers now roll out there on the racetrack, here we go for the grid lineup for heat race number 2. Dustin, the number 9 machine, driver out of Indiana, he'll be on pole. With Bryce with Team SSR, the 513 machine to his outside. The 2nd row is going to be made up of Thomas Brandon and Jareth Pike. Zane Walters and Patrick Cobb there in the 3rd row. Scott Posey and Todd back there in the 7th and 8th place. And Sam J. Price with SJP and Motorsports, the number 24 machine, back there in the 9th spot, rounding out this field.
Yeah, we should have another really good race here. A lot of very talented drivers as we're getting ready to take the green for Heat 2. And again, to point out the track state with it being carried over, you can already see how torn up the track is there, especially on entry and on exit. Yeah, that midline may be a little clean from where dirt's gotten kicked up on the inside, but it is still a very treacherous track state.
We seen in night number 1 that was kind of a slick line, kind of right there on the high side. A lot of guys were fighting for the same real estate all the way next to the outside wall. I believe that was in heat race number 2, and for night number 2, it looks like it's going to be the exact same thing as our race leader goes ahead and throws that slide job line all the way to the outside wall, and Dustin, the number 9 machine, is going to lead lap number 1.
Absolutely, and the 91 of Jareth Pike just able to slide up there and take 3rd place away from the 513 of Bryce Barris. Barris is trying to fight back, but right now he cannot find the corner exit speed he needs to get that position locked back in.
Jareth Pike, I think he got into a pretty bad crash there in heat race number 1. He gets into the slick, and here comes Bryce. I thought Bryce may have thrown it down to the bottom side on our first. Yellow flag is going to wave on lap number 4 in heat race number 2. Sam J. Price is showing out of this race. These drivers have to slow up the horsepower. Here we go with the race crash. Sam J. Price, they're the number 24 machine with SJP Motorsports.
Unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like he was going for the pits there, and he just miscalculated something, spun, and wound up finding the wall.
Sometimes, dude, this pit road is sometimes, a lot of these dirt track pit roads, man, they are pretty difficult.
Well, I mean, you're talking about a pit road that isn't necessarily meant to be utilized during a race. So they don't make it overly accessible, but it still can be kind of entertaining at times.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's always a trick trying to stop your car there in your pit stall as well. These machines, for some reason, they just do not want to turn right. So that's what happened on lap number 4. Sam J. Price tried to get into the pits, got caught up onto the wall. Yellow flag, it came out. So we'll have a single file restart. The lights on the pace car is out. Jareth Pike holds down this last transfer spot. We'll be watching that 91 machine very hard. Does Bryce have anything to say? Bryce and his, I think it was the C main or B main, he was minding his own business down there on the bottom side, making that machine work very good all the way down to the inside wall. Will he take that car back down there? You have Zane Walters back there in 5th as well, so 31 machine is always pretty quick. Dustin Griffiths, Thomas Brandon, Jareth Pike, top 3, single file restart. We'll see what these drivers do. Coming off of turn 4, they diamond cut off of turn 4. Stand on the loud pedal with these 360 sprint cars, and here we go, lap number 5, halfway home to mama.
Yeah, and you can see one driver down low on the track there. I can't quite see the number on that. I believe that is either going to be Zane Walters or Patrick Cobb. I believe it was Cobb. Really aggressive there into 1 and 2.
Zane Walters still there in this 5th place, ripping the lip. May have just tapped the wall right there by a slight bit. Jareth Pike is all over the back bumper of this 35 machine of Thomas Brandon. Thomas Brandon with the Team SSR Elite Squad as Brandon tries to throw that machine down there to the bottom side, and he slides it up all the way to the outside wall. The best lap time here in heat race number 2 as we work lap 8 of 10 is going to be Dustin, our race leader, with that 14.125.
Yeah, and going back to the 513, you can see Bryce trying to find the line he needs to get a little bit of time there on Jareth. Not able to do it, and Zane Walters, that 31, you pointed him out earlier, but he is looking very likely to try and launch an attack here on Boris.
As a wide flag is going to wave, the 9 machine has this thing in his grasp for the last time. Down the back straightaway, Thomas Brandon, Jareth Pike in the last transfer spots. They're going to come out of turn 4, and the 513 machine of Bryce, he is going to be on the outside looking in. He'll have to fight his way into this $400 per show. Zane Walters as well as others, as I pull up the race results up there on your screen now.
You know, I have to say, honestly, it is heartbreaking to finish second, but in a heat race like that, I think the most painful position you can finish is going to be 4th. Because if you finish second at the end of the feature, you know it's over. But if you finish 4th, not only did you not make that final position, you can't even pack it up and go home and work on improving. You're going to have to get back out there and fight even more and even harder for a chance to get what you almost had.
Yeah, I agree, man. That outside looking in, that very first spot, it's always very tough as we get ready to rock and roll with heat race number 3. Only 1 caution, a couple slide jobs, man, but looks like qualifying is coming in big tonight. Not a lot of passing in those first 2 heat races, unlike night number 1. So as this track starts getting more and more slick, we'll see how these drivers react to see if they got the right setup in. Kenny Hoffman, the 01 machine with Team SSR, he'll be on pole with Jake. The number 3 machine to his outside is Zach 3rd. Kyle Matson will be starting there in the 4th place. Brandon 5th. Chris, the 28 driver from New Jersey, he'll be in 6th place. The drivers in 4th row is going to be Colin and Daniel. And then rounding out that last spot, the 9th spot from the Plains, 52 machine of John.
Yeah, once again, another heat race, and another 3 will be locked into that final feature as we're getting ready to set off for it here. The track is only getting worse, so you do not want to get stuck fighting for it. But the drivers are going to be off on this one. It's a really good getaway for Kenny Hoffman and Jake Sonnentag there. However, Zach James just dropping back, losing that second position, or losing that, sorry, Jake Sonnentag losing that second position, dropping back to 3rd. Zach James able to get a good start.
As of right now, Kenny Hoffman leads this pack of hungry hounds down the back straightaway. He's going to look down to the end of the sidewall and slide it up. Zach's the exact same thing with Zach. You're right, Jake. Jake Sonatag, he started on the outside of the front row. He lost that first spot, or that second spot, down into turn number 1. Right now, he's settled in to his last transfer spot. But the Brandon, the double deuce machine, does he have anything to say about it as he's running a different line than Jake Sonatag, working lap 4 of 10 down into turn at number 1 and 2.
Yeah, and that's one of the best parts about racing like this. You get to see all these different lines the drivers are carrying. You see some up high on that wall, some down low on the bottom wall, some running that middle, some preferring the slick, some liking the dry, as we have a challenge for first place here, and Zach Janes gonna be able to take the lead from Hoffman.
Zach throws a huge slide job coming out of turn 4. Kenny Hoffman is going to give him right back to him. He goes through the outside wall. Can Zach Janes get it back now?
And this is the beautiful fights that you get on dirt, as eventually Zach able to take first place and seal that off as we hit 4 to go here.
4 to go, and of course my screen kind of froze up on us.
That's all good. Right now we have the 22 of Brandon Voles still trying to fight to find his way up to the 3 of Sonentag. However, he's currently under attack by the 50 of Murphy as they exit 3 and 4. These two have been side by side for a few corner sets now, and it's beginning to hinder Voles and keep him from being able to get caught up to 3rd here. But it looks like Murphy may be getting that move sealed off, and yes, he will.
There's a checker flag waves. I had to log out. I'm going to log right back in, and we'll continue on.
And looking at the finishing positions for that run, it's going to not want to load for me. Okay, then I see how it is, iRacing.
It kicked us both out.
No, I'm still in the session, but my software is not wanting to display the proper results. It has already moved on to the next heat.
We'll get stuff flying down. We'll figure it out. But Zach Janes, he and Kenny Hopping going to absolute war with each other. Jake Sonentag, I believe he finished there in that last transfer spot. So he'll move on, but we will confirm with that. But 9 drivers in these heat races. Caution flags are going to be on. So far, man, it's going to be an absolute blast. Qualifying big roll, but heat race number 3, that did not come into play whatsoever. There was all sorts of passing.
Absolutely, and now moving on to Heat 4, just keeping some updates with what's going on right now. Shea Paolo leading in that number 19 car. The 00 of Justin Sherman to his outside. Trent Verstraeten in the 88, starting there in 3rd with the 44 of Christopher Schaefer beside him. Our 3rd row is going to be the 42 of Tyler Wilson and the 64 of Timothy Alton. The 4th row is going to be Kurt Nelly and Devin Allen Thompson, and Seth Hagen is going to finish up the grid for Heat Race 4 in 9th spot. But one thing that is becoming very apparent through these races, you will notice very quickly, that 2nd position is not where you want to be at the start of the race. We are seeing people that are losing positions by the fistful off of these race starts just because they're in 2nd instead of 3rd.
Yeah, and that's been very, very apparent since this tire model. I've heard a lot of drivers complaining about that as well. You kind of want to be in that P3 spot instead of P2.
And on a track as torn up as this, that's not all that surprising, honestly. It is a very difficult track state to try and race on. That top line is so chewed up. But starting to tick through a few laps right now. Shea Powell in the 19 leading with Justin Sherman behind him, followed by the 88 of Trent Verstraeten. So no major battles going on for any of those locked positions right now. No, sorry, Tyler Wilson in third.
Yeah, Tyler Wilson's in third, Trent's fourth. A little bit of battle back here for the fifth and sixth spot with Devin Thomas and Tim Alton. We're going to try to make it 3 wide down into turn at number 1 with Thomas all the way to the outside. 64 machine of Tim Alton, the driver from the Frozen Land up north. He's going to slide it up to the outside wall, and right now Tim has that 5th spot, and I'm sure he's going to want a caution flag.
Absolutely. If you are running up there in 4th, in 5th, you want to see that caution come out because that gives you a second chance. You don't get held up by the battling at the start nearly as much when you're single file as compared to 2 wide. But right now, Alton just putting in the work and putting some distance between him, May, and Thompson.
Last lap times are up there on your screen. Our race leader, 14.4. Second place of 14.6. As we ride on board with Tyler Wilson, Shea just throws down the best lap time of this heat race. He runs a 14.7, but the driver back here in 4th place kind of matching Tyler Wilson's lap time for that last transfer spot. So multiple drivers kind of wanting needing a checker or a caution flag to wave. Only 3 drivers want to see the race go green flag. But white flag is going to be out for the number 19 machine. And the driver that won night number 1, he'll be winning his heat race last time down the backstretch and into turn number 3 and 4, the number 19 machine. 21 there on his trading paints. He'll come across a line in first place with checkered flag in hand. Justin Sherman and Tyler Wilson top 3.
Absolutely, and you can see these races are starting to heat up more and more as we are getting to these last few heat races. Drivers are getting even more aggressive than we were seeing in the first 2. They're really starting to get up side by side next to each other and starting to try and push and fight.
Yeah, track's getting slick too, man. I mean, I know we said that multiple times here tonight, but that high side's definitely the way to go. But, man, you leave a huge slide job line open for the guy right there behind you. So we'll see how heat race number 5 all works out. 10 laps, drivers jumping into their machines. And they're going to take out.
Absolutely, not to mention just how slim of an area you really have to be able to put the car on and hold it. If you want to make use of that top line, there's not a lot of room up there before you're going to be too far on that cushion, and it's just going to suck you right into that wall.
Number 14 machine of Brady King. He'll be on pole with SSR Elite Sim Racing Squad. Gerald Mai, the number 20 machine, the Team SSR. He'll be to his outside. Wade Phil's probably one of the best non-wing dirt car drivers I've seen here on iRacing. He'll be back there in the 3rd row. The 3rd place. They're in the 2nd row. Corey Austin, Native Pride Racing, right there to his outside. You have Jordan Eder there in 5th place. Todd Hutton, 6th. Chris Forcey and Brandon Garman. Wide Open Motorsports for Chris, and Brandon with Garmin Sim Racing rounding out that 7th and 8th spot. Lights on the pace truck is off. He'll be making that hard left-hand corner. And we're wheel-to-wheel, wing-to-wing, stack them up, pack them up. And we're going to do a little bit of shimmy and shiving for 10 laps around Eldora Speedway.
And that is going to be the green flag off. Surprisingly, Jeremy able to do well there. Starting from 2nd, able to keep that position. That's the first time we have seen that tonight in any of these heat races. But it's actually going to be Wade Fields who is falling under attack there by the number 43 of Corey Austin.
Corey Austin, Native Pride Racing Squad. He goes down to the bottom side. Corey Austin going to try to slide it on up. He had to check out of it big time, or that was going to be a big time wreck, and caution flag was going to wave. He had to check out, and he's going to try to square up Wade Fields once again for that 3rd spot. But Corey Austin sitting back there in the 4th spot, and that machine is absolutely on rails right now.
Absolutely, but that is the risk when you try and throw a slider on 2 guys already fighting. And it's looking like he's going to go for it again.
Wade Fields tries to split the gap, and a big-time move by Corey Austin. Sorry, Corey Austin tried to throw a slide job. Wade Fields had to do the crossover.
Yeah, and as I was going to say, that is the risk that you are running when you try and throw a slider like that on two people. Is Wade Fields and Corey Austin going to make a little bit of contact there? Threw Wade for a bit of a loop, but able to make it through just fine. And he's going to get attacked to the inside by Chris Forsyth.
Corey Austin has now moved up inside the bubble. Can he hold on to it as we work lap 7 of 10 down 1 minute and 42 seconds in? And Corey Austin looking all over the back bumper of Jeremiah now as they almost made contact coming out of turn 4, lap 8 of 10. And Brady King is slowly starting to walk away with this thing.
Yeah, and big contact there for Corey Austin with the wall. And for two other drivers, that's going to be Wade Fields and Brandon Garmin, I believe, made contact there. And that is going to leave Fields spun backwards, and he is going to have to make his way to the pits.
What a great night Wade Fields was having. Had qualified great, running up in that top transfer spot, and it has went south very quick. He goes into the pits. We'll see if he has a quick repair. I don't know if these drivers do on the doing the heat races or not, but regardless, he goes into the pits. And man, that was some hardcore racing. Yellow flag waves. Wade Fields, Brady King. Here comes a replay. The number 1 machine of Wade Fields all the way to the outside wall. We'll see what happens. Corey Austin tagged the outside wall as well. And you guys can make the call on that. Looks like one driver came down, the other driver came up, and good old classic iRacing contact.
That is the danger that you are running when you really try and begin to throw these things around the track like that. But it does give us some very spectacular racing. And you know that Austin, that 43, is happy that caution came out. It's given him a bit of a time to recollect himself and recover from those minor incidents he was getting into. Because as you could see on the replay, he was tapping the wall just a little bit there.
Yeah, his car looks like it is extremely loose, but loose as fast is what I've been told. And here we go. Lap 8 of 10. Brady King, Jeremiah, and Corey Austin. They're in that last transfer spot. They are locked into the Mac Daddy show for $100 here tonight. We'll see if they can hold on to it. Or does Brandon Garmin with Garmin Sim Racing, does he have anything to say? Stepping on the loud pedal, Diamond cutting off a turn 4. Brady King goes, and here we go. Shimmy and Shive, 2 more laps around Eldora.
Yep, and Garmin going low there off of 1 and 2, trying to find his way around Austin. You can see he doesn't quite have the same speed, but Austin is still having some issues between his car getting loose and getting held up by Jeremy Wiggle there. That's going to see him drop down to 4th position.
Brandon Garmin making that bottom side work, and he's going to actually pass 2 drivers. They're on the bottom side of the racetrack, and Brandon Garmin goes from 4th place with 2 laps to go all the way to 2nd place, and Corey Austin finds himself out of the A main show in heat race number 5. The race results are up there on your screen. And what a run by Brandon Garmin, man. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, that is a disappointing ending there to the heat race for Austin. So close, but car troubles, they're unfortunately one of those things you cannot avoid. If it's not feeling quite right out there on track, you have to deal with it out on track. Once you're running those laps, there's nothing you can do setup-wise to try and change it. It all has to come from your driving.
Man, well, I don't think we've seen any driver actually work that bottom slide like Brandon Garmin did, but he found some magic down there, found a little bit of grip, did something, and he was able to make it into the race show, but a great job by him. A heat race number 6 is up next. 8 drivers, top 3 advance. Here we go with the grid lineup once again. Lane Stevens, the 33 machine, he'll be on pole with Dylan, the number 92, on to his outside. Robert Boggs, 3rd place, with Ryan Washock, the number 45 machine. He'll be there in that 4th spot. To 5th place, Donnie Batiste and Zach J. Miller to his outside. Jason Butterfield and Mace, the number 89 machine from the crazy state of California. He'll be rounding out the field there in the 8th spot. Caterpillar, they're on his paint scheme for heat race number 6. And man, I gotta say, I think these guys have a little bit more of an advantage than the first heat races, because this will be more of what the track will be like whenever they get to the A main.
Absolutely. Even if they don't make it through to the feature by finishing top 3 here, they're going to be much more acclimated to what they're going to have to fight through to get there later on, as they're going to hit that loud pedal, and we are going to go live here for the race. You can see a very big loss there for Ryan Washock, or for Robert Boggs, sorry, who wound up dropping down to 4th off of the start of that race.
Side by side, wheel to wheel for the race lead. Dylan has it. He's the driver on the bottom side. Lane Stevens all the way to the outside, the high and scary side, trying to rip the lip around Eldora in his 360 sprint car. And we're still wheel to wheel, and Ryan's trying to hold back P3.
And a very unfortunate ending for this heat race there for Jason Butterfield, who wound up having a collision. I believe that was going to be with Mace German, but I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, that was Mace German. Collision between the two of them left Butterfield into the wall there on lap 1.
Dylan still leads halfway home to Mama, only 1 minute and 7 seconds in. Ryan gets around Lane Stevens now, so Ryan Warshock moves up to P2. Lane Stevens did not have a front wing they're in one of the main shows for night number 1. And right now he is locked into the Mac Daddy show. But look at Ryan, he is absolutely flying, trying to figure out a way around Dylan now.
Yeah, and Miller there looking to attack Stevens on the inside, back and forth between the two of them, and Donnie and Robert behind them also keeping the side-by-side battles going. It's going to be interesting to see who wins out here in the end.
Race leader Dylan, he starts working this bottom part of the racetrack. Ryan, he still works this high and scary side next to the outside wall. You pick your weapon. Which line do you want? You want the high side or the bottom side? They drag race down the back stretch. Dylan, it looks like I thought he was going to try to throw that slide job, but he's going to try to keep that car down to the bottom side. 2 laps to go. Wheel to wheel coming across the line and down into turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, and you can see that high line beginning to bite Washock right there. Getting a little loose, getting that rear right tire up into the wall there, and that is going to drop him from first and actually leave him vulnerable to an attack there by both Miller and Stevens, so he could lose even more.
Last transfer spot up for grabs. Lane Stevens gets caught up and almost spins it right across the line, but Lane Stevens is going to win right over Zach J. Miller, so the 33 machine goes straight to the A main, and Zach J. Miller's the first guy on the outside looking in as we get ready to go through our D main events now. That was a lot racier. That was a lot racier heat race there from the beginning of the night.
Absolutely. That's the kind of racing that we love to see get churned out by these drivers. Again, we are moving on to the mains here. Like you said, this is going to be D main. Top 6 are going to make their way through here. So not as much pressure to have to be up top, but it definitely adds even more pressure for these drivers to run a perfect race. You don't want to get caught up in anything, because any incident could be the final nail in the coffin.
And here's the outside shot of Eldora, man. You notice the sun is down, the speedway lights are on, and definitely when you have money on the line, a $400 purse on the line, the vibes, the energy, everything just kind of changes.
Absolutely. It's one thing when everyone is out here just having fun throwing these cars around, but as soon as you put money on the line, as soon as you say there's a purse up for grabs, it's time to get serious, and these drivers are showing it.
Scott Posey, he'll be on pole with Chris Marcantino. The number 28 car, he'll be to his outside. Chris Schaefer and Wade Fields making up that second row. Jason Butterfield and Wesley, Sam J. Price, John and Seth Hagen. Rounding out this D main, how many cars are advancing to the C main?
Yeah, I'm expecting we're going to have about the same field size for C main, hopefully. I think we've seen this is a good size for races, as these drivers are going to set off there. A very good start for Schaefer, able to get second place off of Marcantinio. And we are going to see the driver of that 28 car having to fight to try and keep that top 3 finish.
Big time getting loose, coming off a turn of 4 was Chris Marcantino, and he holds on to it some way, somehow, but he is all over the back bumper of Jason Butterfield. Top 6 advance, 10 laps around Eldora Speedway, and man, look at everybody. No one went to the outside, and everyone's trying to get to this bottom side of the racetrack, and Scott Posey almost loses it.
Yeah, you can see there, you can tell when they do not expect someone to slow up as much as they do, giving him a nice boot to the backside. So much hard driving, so much hard racing as everyone is stacked up side by side, threatening to take it 3 wide even here on a track as demolished as this. We are seeing the pinnacle of bravery within racing as Wade Fields currently running in that 3rd position there, fighting off Marcantino on that low side.
Wade Fields holding down P3. Chris back here in the 4th place. You have Sam J. Price back in 5th. Scott Posey, he has this last transfer spot as of right now here in the number 8 machine. And the first guy outside looking in on the cuffs of ending his night a little bit early as we work lap 7 of 10 now. Is Wesley, the 03 machine, the driver in the lime green paint scheme.
Yeah, you can see some drivers trying to make that bottom work. Jason Butterfield there, for example. However, Wade Fields absolutely taking that top line, treating him like a dream. But we're going to see him cut off the front of Butterfield right there, block him off down on that low line.
Top 3 kind of single filed out right now. Chris Schaefer putting down a big statement there in the number 44 machine. A big time lead. We'll pull the gap up on the screen of 1.1. A second gap as they work down the backstretch of lap 9 and 10. Working in turns 3 and 4. And a big type of shakeup, man, from night number 1. Everybody all the way down to the inside wall. So, man, that could be a big storyline here tonight there in the A main event. You want to set your car up to the outside or to the inside wall. White flag waves. Chris Schaefer, Wade Fields, Jason Butterfield. The top 6 advances, and right now Scott Posey has it, and John is on the outside looking in.
Yeah, we're definitely getting shown perfectly here. Either that top or bottom is going to be viable, but do not hit that middle. The middle just does not seem to have the speed that anyone needs as of now.
D-Main comes to a close. We'll pull up the race results really quick.
And a lot of drivers coming in for this C main race here, counting 15 as of the current moment. Again, top 6 are going to make it up into the next B main race. So it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to go on with the fighting in this one. Not to mention, we do have a lap counter increase. We're running 15 instead of 10 this time. So 5 extra laps for Carnage and Mayhem and for these drivers to get a move.
As drivers start rolling or slowly starting to roll out on the racetrack, top 6 advances once again, and here we go. National Auto Racing Club, the C main event. Jordan Eder, Team SSR driver, he'll be on pole. Robert Boggs, who is outside. You have Jordan and Patrick making up the 2nd row. Kyle and Kurt, that's funny, they're making up the 5th and 6th spot. Todd and May, 7th and 8th. Greg and Chris making up that 9th and 10th spot. Chris Schaefer was a winner of the D main event. Wade Fields, Jason Butterfield. And a couple more drivers, Sam J. Price, Chris Marcantino, and Scott Posey. So watch those 10th through the 15th drivers. And we'll see if those guys can make it up.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to come out here with a point to prove if they want to move up to that B main. All we are doing is whittling down the final one to make it into this feature.
So we look on these outside part of the racetrack, and yeah, you can definitely tell, man, this track is completely tore up, and they will not reset it, so they'll just carry it on all through the night. 15 laps around this one as we are already racing for the C main. Jordan Eder is our race leader. Robert Boggs tries to look down to the bottom side.
Yeah, you can see just how much fighting is going on. Drivers getting up in each other's faces, rubbing, bumping, pushing, inches separating them from each other. That isn't a field back at the back. That is a mob of people looking to find any way to get in, as they are all having some very close moments there.
Robert Boggs going to capture the race lead over Jordan Eder, so Eder falls back to P2 now. Jordan Lawrenson, the 244 driver, he's the only car down on the bottom, or the first car down to the bottom side, up into the top 3 right now, and he's looking fast. Patrick Cobb back here in the 4th spot. Wade Fields and Kurt Ney holding back this last transfer spot. Will he hold on to it very much longer? Kyle Madsen tries to get into the race mix.
And again, it makes you question, how hard do you want to push if you are within that top 6? Do you want to battle and try and further your current position, or do you just want to stay safe and make it to the next race? Do you just take what you have and live, or do you fight even harder? And right now, it is plainly obvious that all of these drivers are choosing to battle instead of just taking it easy.
Wade Fields, he is a hard charge as of right now. He's moved up 6, 7 spots. He's already up to this 4th spot, and he is working very hard there in that number 1 machine, trying to make it into the race. Show has not had the best of luck there in his heat races, but right here, knock on wood, Wade Field, you're doing quite well, running in the top 5 right now as we work lap 8 of 15, just shy of 2 minutes. Fields tries to get to the inside of the 244 of Jordan Lawrence and almost made a little bit of contact, but Fields not playing around. He rooted him right out of the way.
And he managed to get 2 positions off of that, just about. So a very good move for him right there, to say the least. Again, with how destroyed this track is, it's difficult to try and get these cars to stick on any kind of a line. So to be able to get any kind of position is going to give you more of a buffer. As we can see, Cobb, Lawrenson, and Keppel all fighting it out there for the final positions, as contact is going to be made, and that is going to be a driver into the wall.
Big time contact was made.
Yeah, I believe that is going to be Lawrenson that found the wall right there.
I was checking on board with the D-main winner of Chris Schaefer. He has some front-end damage there to his 360 sprint car. He was not moving up the way that I thought Schaefer was going to. But maybe a little bit of luck for him. Yellow flag waves and want to stack them up and re-rack them and repack with only 3 laps to go as we try to pull up the replay of what happened on this crash outside, and there you kind of have it.
Yeah,
I think we had multiple crashes, Alex.
Yeah, I'm just noticing one also took part on the back, or on that front stretch as well. One even involving a stopped car out on track. So a lot of carnage and mayhem really coming out of this race right now.
There's that first wreck that we was watching, and then the guys right there in front of these guys and they went ahead and they just crashed each other. So yeah, mayhem and stuff is on the line, man. Stuff is on the line. You don't want to end your night early. Top 6 advances, and Chris Marcantino right now, he is holding down this last chancellor spot, and he has a little bit of damage to that front Nerf bar.
Yeah, right now, if you are Schaefer, you are licking your lips. You have 5 laps to go, and you are starting in that golden position. You are 1 out of where you know you need to be. You know the car in front of you is wounded, and you have 5 laps to capitalize on that. The question is, will the driver of the 44 be able to do that? We saw him absolutely dominate some of his races so far, but can he put in a drive good enough to make it to the B main?
From the D main all the way up to the B main, can the 44 do it? 3 laps to go. We'll try to cover all this action. And here we go, back to the loud pedals. Looks like the top 5 is slowly starting to get single filed out, so we'll keep on covering this 6th and last transfer spot, trying to make it up to the B main. And as of right now, Chris Schaefer is showing to be in that 6th spot.
Schaefer doing a very good job there. Marcantino really getting slowed up, nearly coming into contact with Patrick Cobb there. And that is what let Schaefer find his way up the inside to get that 6th position. And right now, Schaefer not stopping there, looking to try and take that 5th spot off of the O2 of Cobb. So still fighting hard down on that low side.
To the checker, or to the white flag is out. Patrick Cobb to the outside of Chris Schaefer. Now marking Catino. He's going to try to make one last run to the back bumper of Chris Schaefer. Chris Schaefer from the D main. Looks like he'll be making it all the way up to the B main. Just needs to make it one more main. As a checker flag waves for Robert Boggs, Jordan Eder, Curtin A, Wade Fields, Patrick Cobb, and Chris Schaefer. Those drivers send those guys to the B main. Chris Marcantino, and farther down, they'll have to end their 360 Kings Royal a little bit early here tonight.
That is not the position that anyone wants to be in, but unfortunately, that is the position that they have found themselves in, and that is just a consequence of the hard racing. We have 22 drivers on the grid for the B main. It is going to be a 20-lap race, so a little bit longer than the last one. Not quite what we're going to see in the feature. But this is the last elimination zone here. Only the top 6 are moving on once again. And we are going to see drivers fighting tooth and nail to try and get one of those coveted positions.
B main with 22 drivers and 20 laps. Man, this is going to be an absolute blast. And yeah, like you said, it's going to be a no hold bars type of race. Everyone's going to be standing on the loud pedal trying to work their way up to that 6th spot. And we'll see who comes out on top. Usually these drivers run a 30-lap A main show, so they're just going to be running 10 laps short of it. Tonight here in the A main show, the Mac Daddy show, we'll have to, we're going to run 40 laps for $100. So we'll see who can do it. Grid really quick. Bruce and Bryce to the front row. Colin Murphy, Trent. That second row, Corey Austin and Zach J. Miller. You have Mason and Zane, and Brandon Tim, Chris, and Donnie Batiste. Going on down the list, lights on the pace truck is off. You have a Hunger Buster of Kale. You have Todd and Daniel, Devin Thomas, or Thompson, Robert Boggs, Jordan Eder, Curtin A, Wade Fields, Patrick Cobb, and Chris Schaefer here in the B main show. Top 6 advance. Who's going to make it in to the $100, $400 purse? And the A main show, 20 laps, stack them up, back them up. Bruce and Bryce, they're going to lead the field down into turn at number 1, and we'll see how the dominoes fall.
A very good jump there for Colin Murphy, able to get around Bryce. Right now, Bryce getting stuck in a battle there with a familiar name, that 43 of Corey Austin. Austin down on that low side. Right now, 4 wide on the front stretch. Backed off 3, then 2, but they are still going at it.
3
and we have a car backwards on track in 1 and 2. Huge collision there.
Almost made it 3 wide down in the turn at number 3 as well. Corey Austin, like you said, he's already moved up 2 spots, up to the 3rd spot. So that car, he's seemed like he is absolutely on the rails. Just barely lost out in his heat race, finished 4th place. But right now, running very strong. Knock on wood. Hopefully, I don't jinx you. Corey Austin. Here we go. Yellow flag out. Wade Fields is showing red up on the program. We'll see what happened to this number 1 machine. Driver for Team SSR. So he goes down to the turn in number 1, kind of all by himself, and a car just backs up straight into him. Complete carnage.
Yeah, a very unfortunate incident there. I know someone else was caught up in that wreck along with him. So that's going to be another driver.
I think it was Donnie.
It was
Donnie Batiste in the 67. He gets tagged, and he just kind of rolled all the way up to the outside lane, and Wade Fields just Wade Fields just completely the worst racing luck that you could possibly have right there. So he had nowhere to go.
Yeah, extremely heavy incident there for Fields. You know he is not going to be happy with the way that this race has wound up for him. Again, you're talking about the hot seat, the final chance, coming out here with the number 1 on that car, making it to the end, and then losing it out like this.
Donnie Batiste lost 10 spots. He's scoring back in the 22nd position. So here we go. Bruce and Colin Murphy, they're going to be single file restarts with Corey Austin, a guy that is slinging that 360 machine all over the place. Caution laps do not count, so here we go, lap number 3 of 20. And we're racing Bruce, Colin, top 2, and here comes Corey Austin there in that red machine.
Yeah, Austin making that outside work an absolute treat for him right now. But it seems like he is still getting much looser than he is comfortable with running that top line. You can see that car really shaking around, especially getting up on corner exit like that. And it's looking like he may get up a little closer to the wall than he is really trying to.
Big time battle back here in the 3rd spot with Trent, Colin, and Bryce as they all battle it out. The 88 machine of Trent, he went down. He did a little bit of a slide job. 3 wide down in the turn at number 1. And Trent, the number 88, stuck right smack dab in the middle as they drag race down the backstretch and into turn number 3.
Yeah, and Bryce, the big winner in that, able to get that 3rd position. Right now, Miller, Verstraeten, Murphy, all fighting it out, trying to find the positions that they need. But Inman now looking to the top of Murphy right there. And Verstraeten going to drop back after a bit of a mistake, it looks like, as he is now down to 5th place.
Mason Inman trying to make it into the A main show, and as of right now, this 23 machine, as he rips a lip around turns 3 and 4, clicking off another lap. Mason Inman is in the show as of right now. Brandon just passes Colin Murphy, and Murphy passes him right back. Big time, almost huge contact down the back straightaway as these drivers are giving it all they got on lap 10 of 20, halfway home here in the B main. Everybody trying to get into the top 6 to race for that $400 purse.
Absolutely, but again, the hot seat to look at right now is going to be the 22 of Brandon Bowles. He is in 7th place. He is the first one out of position there. So we have to wait and see. Is he going to be able to make a move? You can see him really sticking hard on that midline, not committing high or low, just trying to find some speed right in the middle of the track.
As we have the last lap times pulled up now, a little bit of battle for 5th and 6th place. Actually, battles all the way around this racetrack. We can only cover so much. But Trent, he is in this last transfer spot now as Mason Inman gets around him. So Brandon, the guy that's in 7th place, he ran a 16.0, 15.9 for Brandon. The guy in 7th place, the guy in 6th place of Trent, he ran a 16.4, so half a second faster the double deuces.
Yeah, and we can see things starting to calm down up front there. A lot of these drivers starting to put some space, seemingly only realizing that they shouldn't try and risk all too much in this race. But right now, someone who is risking something is going to be Brandon, as he's going to get attacked to the outside by the 53 of Daniel J. Adams right now. And this only is coming after he was looking like he was starting to make ground on Verstraeten in the 6th position. So this is going to be a bit of a predicament for the driver of the 22.
4 laps ago and 6 minutes into the B main. Dylan Adams here. That machine is absolutely on rails, and someone gets glued to the outside wall. That's going to be Trent. He gets passed by 2 drivers. Yellow flag is going to wave. And the yellow flag's going to wave. That's all I'm going to say as of right now. I don't know if someone wrecked or not. Patrick Cobb is showing he's in the piss, but a big-time mistake by the 88 machine, yeah. And I don't know if he's going to get a spot back or not, but he was glued to the outside wall, and Daniel Adams and someone else
major wreck there for the 02 of Cobb. Exiting 1 and 2 on the backstretch, just gets a little looser than he would have liked. Tries to correct it, winds up overcorrecting and finding that outside wall. Ultimately flips that car out onto the side.
Try to pull the replay up really quick. Here we go, Cobb. Patrick Cobb, the number 3 machine, and here we go. We'll even do a little bit of a slow-mo replay, and yeah, dude, he got way loose. He almost slides right into Schaefer, and he tags the outside wall. And and does a lot of spins.
Yeah, that is one of those big crashes that you never want to see, but you can, honestly, at this point, you can see just how destroyed this track is. There is not a viable good spot on the track to put those tires apart from that very top cushion.
The number 88 machine of Trent, he got a big time. He got saved big time as he got passed by 2 drivers right when that yellow flag came out. So Trent is holding down this last change spot. Daniel Adams, Dylan J. Adams, he is absolutely on rails. He's been flying all the way to the front. He's already moved up 8 spots here in the B main show, and he's on the outside looking in. Does he have anything to say as these drivers stand on a loud pedal for lap 18 of 20?
Absolutely, and you can see all the drivers going immediately to that high side. With how torn up the track is, there just isn't enough viable grip for them to try and run that midline anymore. So a lot of them electing to go up and run that wall, and we are seeing that begin to cause a little bit of havoc here on track with some of these drivers. As we're straight and
3 wide racing for Daniel, the 53 machine. He's up to the 5th place now. You have Trent. He is still holding back this 6th spot some way, somehow. The double deuce machine trying to get to his back bumper and does not look like he's going to do it, but Daniel J. Adams is barely going to hold on to it. He's going to come home in 5th place after moving up 10 spots in the 75 machine, or 53 machine there on the scoring tower. What a race. He had to make it 3 wide to make it all the way to the front.
And Brandon Voles right there almost made it, but ultimately sitting in 7th for the end of the race. That is not where he wanted to find himself. He is not going to make the transfer for tonight's feature, and he is going to end his night there.
So 24 cars are going to be lined up. They have a practice session, but they only take it if they want to slick up the racetrack. It's usually about just a 2-minute wait time is what they do. So, man, A main show coming to a start, dude. We have had 5 heat races. We have a D main. We've had a C main. We just got done with the B main. But everybody's looking forward to this Mac Daddy show for a $400 purse. Who's going to win it? We got multiple pro drivers in this. We got non-pro drivers that can hang with these top dogs, and it's just going to be an absolute blast. We'll see what these drivers learn out of night number 1. See if they made any sort of change to the 360 sprint car or not. But regardless, slide job city here at Eldora, and that bottom line seems very, very fast.
Absolutely, but that's only if you're able to make it work with you. With how destroyed this track is, finding any kind of grip down there is nigh on impossible unless you really know what you're doing. So we're going to have to wait and see who's able to get it to work.
40 laps last night in night number 1. I believe there's only 1 caution. There might have been 2 cautions. But not a lot of cautions here for the National Auto Racing Club. And if you guys are looking for a league, National Auto Racing Club, go check them out on Facebook. Over 50 drivers into this 360 Kings Royal, the NARC, or NARC is what they call it. League members only. So if you guys want to join this action, go find them out on Facebook, join their Facebook group, jump into their Discord page, and checker flag waves for warm up. And man, this is going to be fun. 40 laps, 24 cars, all for a $400 purse.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to reload this here. My iRacing is currently having a few issues and had me locked at us being 1 second into warm-up. So I will be back in just a moment.
No worries. We'll go down the lineup. Ever since that big update, man, a lot of people are having issues with iRacing servers, and same thing with our frame rates. Our frame rates are pretty big. But a main feature, 40 laps. Here we go for the race grid. Who's going to come out on top for night number 2 of the 2nd annual 360 Kings Royal? That, I have no idea, but we will all find out.
Okay, we are loading back into the session here.
For the grid, National Auto Racing Club, Dylan, the number 92 machine. He'll be on pole with Brady King to his outside. Is Shea Paulo, number 1 winner. He'll be starting in 3rd place. And Zach James, number 7, he'll be starting in 4th. Dustin Griffiths, the number 9 machine, will be starting in 5th. Greg Lamy Jr., the guy that finished 2nd place for number 1, Elbows Up Sim Sports. He'll be starting at 6th place. Michael Birthday will be in 7th, and Thomas Brandon 8th. Kenny Hoffman 9th. Justin Sherman will be rounding out the top at 10. Brandon Garman and Ryan Washock will be rounding out the field there in the 11th and 12th spot. 13th is going to be Travis Snyder Jr. and Jareth Pike in the 14th. 15th spot is going to be Jake and Tyler. Jeremiah and Lane Stevens starting at 17th and 18th. 19th is going to be Bruce and Corey Austin. Bryce and Zach J. Miller, Daniel Adams, Joseph, and Trent with Wide Open Motorsports will be rounding out the field. That last spot goes to that guy. So here we go. Big time nerves are up. The heart rate is up. These drivers wheel to wheel, wing to wing. Stack them up, back them up. 40 laps around Eldora. The speedway lights are on. The nerves are out of the roof. And here we go. Green flag is out, and Dylan's going to lead the field down at the turn at number 1. Shea rockets right to 2nd place. And Brady King back to 3rd. As they all go down the backstretch into turn number 3, everybody fans out. 2-lane track as of right now. A big-time battle for the race lead. You definitely don't want to give it up to this number 19 of Shea Paulo quite yet, because he will run away with it. And as of right now, the caution flag. Number 19 machine that captures the race lead. 3 wide, 4 wide, all the way around this racetrack. But a very, very early caution on lap number 2 comes out here in the Mac Daddy Show. And it's going to be Bruce Klingen as Sean red up on the program. So here we go with the crash. Bruce, that blue machine, all the way down to the bottom side, just clicking off another lap. Slow-mo, we'll see what happened to him. A huge pack of cars right there in front of him. Looks like Corey Austin gets tagged by Ryan Washock. And then a lot of drivers had absolutely nowhere to go, and Bruce just absolutely T-bones both of them. Very bad luck by that spot, man. Just wrong spot, wrong time. Lane Stevens goes in. He'll put that front wing back on that car.
Okay, we are finally somewhat loaded back in, waiting for everything to get caught back up here. And okay, I do believe that we are good now.
Single file restarts for the National Auto Racing Club. Lap 4 of 40, long race to go. Dylan, it leads a pro driver of Shea, the driver that, and Dustin as well, another pro driver. So Dylan has some big time names right there behind him for lap of 3. Dylan was working the bottom side. Shea went all the way to the high side, just like night number 1, and that machine. That setup looks like it is very, very quick, and here we go, getting ready to rock and roll once again. Green flag back out for the National Racing Club, night number 2. And the number 92 machine is going to try to hold on to the race lead, and Dustin taps the inside wall. Does he have any damage now as they drag race down to the turn at number 3?
Yeah, you can see Shea Paulo there really driving that outside hard. Dylan just not able to find the speed that he needs down low there. We are really seeing that track get chewed up. The amount of rotation you're going to be getting with any kind of throttle on that low side is absolutely insane, and it is beginning to hinder some of these drivers as they're trying to make their way through these laps.
A lot of drivers there in that later part of the heat race as we was almost going to try to stuff it 3 wide down on the bottom side. That wasn't going to work out very well as we jump on to the mid part of the pack with Kenny Hoffman here in the 01 machine. Ran a very, very good heat race, and right now he's working the bottom side of this Eldora racetrack. Kenny Hoffman loses another spot, but all sorts of action there in front of him. All sorts of action there behind him as well as we jump onto the gearbox camera as Ryan is right on the back bumper. And here comes Thomas Brandon to his outside now.
Yeah, a lot of action, a lot of fighting. These drivers need to find their way up through the pack, but it's so difficult to do. These drivers are getting extremely close to each other, really pushing, really fighting. We are seeing 3, 4 wide around this track right now, and you can tell how much everyone wants to get one of those top spots for themselves.
Thomas Brandon kind of running that middle side of the racetrack. Not very many drivers running it. He tries to slide to the high side. 2 drivers were there, could not find a gap. And man, if there's drivers to the high side, if you just don't have a gap to kind of slide it on up, contact being made, hold on to it, kids. Lap 10 of 40 is very hard, man. You kind of just got to ride along until you can find a gap. Thomas does find a gap, and he's up to the 9th place now. So check it up on board with our race leader of Shea as he works down to the turn in number 1. You have Dustin back to P2. You have Zach James in P3, and Greg Lamy, the driver.
Big contact there on track. Start-finish straight, 1 car getting spun around there. Michael Birthday getting pushed around a little bit, losing it on the top. And there was someone who lost big there, coming into contact with the back of Birthday's car.
Number 42 machine, Tyler Wilson, he has no front wing whatsoever. Lost a bracket and all. Lost a little bit of body work as well right underneath that front wing. So that machine is going to run a little bit ill, but racing all the way around the pack. And here we go with the track map up there on the screen now. That is our running order. Our race leader just now coming across the line in the back of the field was coming out at turn at number 2 here at Eldora Speedway. So top 2 guys still going to be Shea. Zach's going to be found in 2nd place, and Greg, just like a repeat of night number 1, he has to try to track down his teammate there in the number 19 as Lamy just smashes the outside wall, and here comes a 92 car as a yellow flag's going to wave on lap 15.
And this is part of what you see here with all of this racing. You start putting things on the line, such as money. These drivers start to really push these cars harder and harder, and you wind up with this kind of battling. But it also means you're going to have the bumping, you're going to have the pushing, you're going to have the rubbing that comes along with it. And right now, Eldora is claiming so many victims tonight just from these battles alone.
Yeah, as you seen Zach, he was trying to get everything out of that car on the high side, and he just kind of gets glued to the outside wall, and he just kind of flips it right on over, and that's what's going to cause a caution for the 2nd time. He gets way loose, gets glued to it, and barrel rolls down the front stretch. I did notice though, there was one driver, I'm pretty sure it was Ryan Warshak, trying to make a hard right-hand corner, trying to miss a contact, but his wing kind of pops right back onto his car. So does Ryan Warshak have damage? That's going to be the question. Back to live mode, back to race mode we go, and Greg Lamy is himself up to 2nd place, right behind his teammate of Shea.
These drivers are really having to start putting in quite a bit of work here. We may only be 15 laps in right now, but we are almost halfway through this feature. And these drivers need to get some of these positions made up. They need to start making their way up to the front, but they are very quickly beginning to run out of lines that they can try and attack on. And it's really coming down to a battle of attrition. Who is able to run the longest? As we are going to go green once again. A very good start there for Shea Paulo, able to keep that lead. But we see side by side there for 2nd, Dylan Ayer and Gregory Laney, both battling it out, trying to get that 2nd podium spot, not wanting to be the 3rd person out. And it looks like Dustin Griffiths trying to find a way to attack both of them to the inside as well.
Big time battle for 2nd place. Greg trying to hold on to P2, try to settle. Looks like he's going to. Dylan, the guy that started on pole here for the A main, he has lost 2 spots there in the number 92 machine. Justin Sherman, he is up to P4. He has moved up 6 spots there in the double O car. Dustin Griffiths, guy starting in 5th place, and right now he is still in 5th place as we work lap at 19 of 40. The top 5 drivers look like they're kind of starting to single file out. A couple guys working on bottom side of the racetrack.
Couple, but not many. A lot of these drivers choosing to come up and favor the outside, and right now it is paying off for a few. A good example, the 99 of Gregory Lamy. Again, we saw him absolutely dominate Heat Race 1. Right now, running up in second in this feature, making that top line work a charm for him, and trying to chase down the 19 of Shea Paulo for the lead of this race.
Last lap times are up there on the race screens. On lap 20, Paulo 16.2, Lamy a 16.1. As they come across the line, once again, that thing will update. Who ran a quicker lap time, and they match each other. 0.038 for our race leader, a 0.062 for the guy in second place. So we're going to work our way down the leaderboard. Third place, Sherman. Griffiths fourth. Dylan fifth. Travis Snyder Jr. trying to get into the mix. He's up there to the 6th spot. Thomas Brandon up to 7th place. Good run by the number 35 machine. Kenny Hoffman, 8th place. 9th place, Dylan Adam Joseph, and Ryan Warshak rounding out that top 10. And this is where the battle is right here. As the big contact is made. Hold on to it, kids. 3 cars are in it. 1 car goes spinning. That's going to be Ryan. And 1 car smashes the inside wall after the math, and that was going to be Michael Birthday that smashed that inside wall. 3 cars got all hooked together, got tangled up, and the 3rd caution flag is going to wave on lap 25.
Yeah, you can see a lot of drivers beginning to get taken out of this race now. We have 3 sitting in the pits right now, and it looks like all of them have actually chosen to drop from this race. So a huge blow to all 3 of them there, being eliminated early on, but that is the struggle of dirt racing at times.
Here's a replay right here. 2 cars right there in front of him, the 75 and the 14. Ryan ripping the lip there in turns 3 and 4. Contact was made by Adams and Brady King, and Ryan, once again, man, just not the best of racing luck here in the A main. Bruce barely avoids them. They're the number 21 machine, the all-blue car, and I think a lot of guys hammered the brakes trying to avoid the 77. I believe someone smashed the inside wall, and yeah, it was after pardon, Bruce smashes it in the 75 Pennzoil car. So that's what all tangled up. That's what caused the yellow flag on lap 25, as we'll have another single file restart, and now we'll see if Greg can hang on to the back Nerf bar of this 21. They were running about the same lap times once they kind of got spread out. So if the 99 can hold on to the back bumper, and also he has a little bit of experience from last night of night number 1. That's exactly how it was with about lap 24 as well. So this will be fun to see if he learned anything. And back under green flag racing we go. And Shay and Greg are going to lead this field. Big time contact there on the outside wall.
That is going to be a huge chunk of the field caught up in there. You were talking about one person having some very bad racing luck, but to be one of those drivers caught up in that is just unfortunate, because that is a lot of free positions for anyone that is able to make it through that. But so many people get caught up that if you are one of them, you're going to be struggling for the remainder of the race. As we can see there, one person, I believe I cannot see exactly what their number is, but one person missing a front wing off of their car.
Down into turn number 1, looks like Dustin Griffiths smashes the outside wall. Dylan had nowhere to go. Thomas Branding gets collected. He goes flipping in everybody, man. Just big time collection in this one. A lot of very fast drivers may have got taken out of this race. Another replay right here. Quarter speed mode. And drivers, man, just had absolutely nowhere to go. Everyone goes straight to the high side here on this restarts. One driver just clips the outside wall. And, man, that's how she sung. And lots of damage out there on the raceway. So back to live mode, back to race mode we go. Lights on the pace truck is off. We'll be going green. A flag racing this time by the number 19 and 99, the 00 top 3. Travis Snyder, very good run by him. He has moved up 9 spots there in the 77 car. So Snyder Jr. trying to make it up into the top 3 and try to mix it up with these top 3 drivers. We'll see how it all works out. Lap 26 of 40 now as the engine starts singing down the backstretch.
Yeah, you can see a little further back there, the battle for 8th position, Wagle trying to find his way on the inside of Wilson. Wilson with a damaged car, no front wing, so he's going to be struggling a bit. Plus, he has Adams, Brandon, and Klingon right in front of him, all finding it out on his line. So he's going to have to try and find his way around them while also defending the